Hello everyone, GoldenNova here. Today, we're going off the beaten path here for a bit. Duelist Nexus has a bunch of new goodies to talk about, but here's the rub. There's actually not a lot I want to talk about. It's mostly comprised of legacy support for archetypes we've already covered here on the channel, and I'd like to wait a little bit longer before I enter my washed out YouTuber phase and redo the old episodes. So instead, let's take a look back at some packs we've already passed over to find some hidden gems, which means today, we're talking about Star Warriors. Premiering in the June 2018 Battles of Legends set Relentless Revenge, the Star Monsters were piloted by students of the Bandit Warrior Academy in the Arc V anime. There's Nagi and Taka, as well as their infamous leader, Iggy Arlo, and while being warriors makes them part of possibly the most supported type in the game next to dragons, they actually operate in a style all their own, which leads to some unique gameplay while still appealing to those looking to smash face. And with the release of Crystal Revenge, we've got a big influx of new cards to add to our arsenal. So let's introduce our combatants, see how they level the competition, then find some friends we can steal the victory with. It's time to burst onto the scene with Star Warriors. Today's episode is brought to you by my lovely patrons and the fine people over at Dragon Shield. If you want to protect your cards with the strongest scales on the market that even come with their own lore while supporting the channel, use my affiliate link in the description. So what's the deal with Star Warriors? Well, they're a series of warriors primarily centered in light and earth attributes, with a splash of dark for flavor. While none of them ever really call out each other by name, their effects universally synergize with level 5 and higher earth and light warriors. That's right, no level 4 toolbox, no rotas, no pool of dark warriors to grab the Phantom Knight support from, and no easily summonable monsters off of Isolde. With very few exceptions, these battle-minded brawlers operate on their own wavelength, looking to turbo out as many of them as possible before fusion summoning into even bigger warriors that either punish your opponent for having monsters with lower levels than you, or for just not having any levels at all. Let's kick things off with Hayate the Earth Star, a level 5 monster with 2100 attack and 0 defense, and if only your opponent controls a monster, or if you control a light monster, you can normal summon this card without any tributes. And if this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon a level 5 light warrior monster from your hand. And once per turn, when your warrior monster is targeted for an attack, you can make this card lose exactly 500 attack, and if you do, negate that attack. That's 4 possible attack negates, which is sadly curtailed by its once per turn restriction. Still, as far as going second starters go, it's not bad, helping you field your light Star Warriors to get them into action while giving them a little bit of battle insurance. Probably by making the opponent so dizzy they can't attack. Look at that background, it's like they put Hayate in the tilt-a-whirl. Tenma, the Sky Star, is a level 5 light monster with 2100 attack and 1000 defense that has a lot of similarities to Hayate. It has the same tribute discount mechanic, though it swaps the light requirement for Earth, special summons a level 5 Earth warrior from your hand when normal or special summoned, and once per turn when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a warrior monster you control as a quick effect, you can make this card lose exactly 500 attack, and if you do, negate the activation, and if you do that, destroy that card. So where Hayate keeps you safe in battle, Tenma wards off targeted interaction, which is arguably a lot better. From removal to negation, this horse-headed harrier can deflect them, and while its special summoning effect is a hard once per turn, the negation is a soft one, so multiple Tenma means multiple negates, earning a Tenma out of 10 from me. Kaiki the Unity Star is a level 5 light monster with 1000 attack and 2100 defense, and if this card is special summoned, except during the damage step, you can pay 500 life points to fusion summon a warrior fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. And during your opponent's turn, if this card is in your grave and you control a level 5 or higher warrior monster whose current attack is different from its original attack as a quick effect, you can special summon this card. This is going to be your primary way of performing fusion summons turn after turn, as long as you've adjusted the attack values of your monsters before you do so. And because it's on your opponent's turn, you can sneak in your monsters at opportune times to mess with your opponent. It really does bring the whole theme together. Kai'Sa, the Hidden Star, is a level 5 Earth monster with 1000 attack and 2100 defense that you can special summon from your hand by tributing a Light or Earth Warrior monster. And if you do, this card gains attack equal to the tributed monster's original attack, but you can only special summon this card once per turn this way. You can also banish a Warrior monster from your grave to send a Light or Earth Warrior monster from your deck to the grave. This is probably our most important Star Warrior out of the bunch because it plus any Light or Earth Warrior you can put on the field immediately gets you your fusion engine, because just by using its summon effect, you now have a warrior monster whose attack is different from its original attack. And by banishing the monster you tributed for this summon, you can send Kaiki the Unity Star directly to your grave, and that's everything you need. So knowing all this, why in the heck would you hide this from the world? This card is fantastic. Todoroki, the Earth Bolt Star, is a level 6 Earth monster with 2100 attack and 0 defense, and you can special summon this card from your hand by sending one other monster from your hand to the grave, but it loses 500 attack, and you can only special summon this card once per turn this way. During the battle phase, as a quick effect, you can pay 500 life points to fusion summon a warrior fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as material. That's right, we've got our own El Shaddoll fusion. No summon in defense position, or only activate during the main phase here. We can wall up our opponent as much as we want, then double dip on damage for the low price of 500 life points. And you can get any fusion warrior to boot. That doesn't really mean much unless you've splashed heroes for some godforsaken reason, but Guilty Gearfried the Magical Steel Knight is a potential double attacker that can easily be slotted into the deck. Trust me, Todoroki is half cold, half hot, but all value. Senko, the Skybolt Star, is a level 7 light monster with 2400 attack and 0 defense, and if an Earth monster is normal or special summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can banish this card from your grave, then target a level 5 or higher warrior monster you control and an attack position monster your opponent controls. Your monster loses exactly 1500 attack, and if it does, destroy that opponent's monster. So we don't have a lot of on-field effects here, but has great effects in grave, meaning it's nifty fusion material. But it also makes for good material for any kind of summon, especially with that free special summon effect from hand. Just normal summon any Earth and now you have a ton of options. Was that Earth a level 1 tuner? Grab a level 8 Synchro. Level 3 tuner? Barone. Another warrior? I know I gave it a bit of scuff earlier, but an Isolde search ain't nothing. And then, once it's set up in the grave, it's removal to get Kaiki the Unity Star online. It really is quite a summoned down-to-earth monster. Alright, that does it for the main deck. Now it's time for our big fusions. Raijin, the Breakbolt Star, is a level 10 Light Warrior fusion monster with 3000 attack and 2200 defense, requiring a level 5 or higher Light Warrior monster and an Earth Warrior monster as material. It does piercing battle damage, doubles any battle damage from battling monsters without levels, and during the end phase, if this card is in the grave because it was destroyed by battle or card effect and sent there this turn, you can target 2 level 7 or lower warrior monsters in your grave and special summon them. And that means we can make this immediately afterwards because one of the cards we can summon is Kaiki the Unity Star, which means you get a fusion. And hey, you just so happen to also summon the perfect fusion material right next to it. This all comes together to make a monster that's not necessarily resilient, but isn't exactly going away anytime soon, which also allows you to push for a punishing amount of damage. It's not a board breaker, it's an opponent breaker. Ida 10, the Conqueror Star, is a level 10 light fusion monster with 3000 attack and 2200 defense, requiring any 2 level 5 or higher warrior monsters as material. If fusion summoned, you can add a level 5 warrior monster from your deck to your hand. And once per turn, you can discard any number of cards to have this card gain 200 attack for each card discarded. And once per battle during damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster with an equal or lower level as a quick effect, you can make that opponent's monster's attack 0 during that damage calculation only. So only level 11 and 12 monsters are safe here, as well as all Xyz and Link monsters, but outside of that, you are punching against basically 0 attack monsters. And the more cards you have to spend, the more damage you can get in with this. Not to mention you get that sweet level 5 search as a follow-up. And it's not just for on-theme cards. You can search the Martial Arts Spirit Pendulum monsters, that way you can just pendulum out your big monsters. You can grab No Punk Deer Note if you're splashing the punk monsters because for some reason it's a warrior. And if you're somehow on that hero Star Warrior hybrid, well, this gets you Ferris. This fusion acts as a situational game ender, but thankfully is very easy to access when we need it, not to mention being critical to our next monster we're about to talk about. I'd 10 recommend it. Shura the Combat Star is a level 12 dark monster with 0 attack and defense, requiring Idaten the Conqueror Star and a level 5 or higher warrior monster as material. Now, it may seem strange that the flagship fusion of the theme is currently the weakest out of any card in the archetype, but give it a second, it gets better. Once per turn, during the battle phase, as a quick effect, you can make the attack of all face-up monsters your opponent controls currently become 0. And once per battle, if any monster battles another monster during damage calculation as a quick effect, you can make each battling monster gain attack equal to their own level times 200 during that damage calculation only. And if this fusion summoned card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card and sent to the grave, you can special summon an Idaten the Conqueror Star from the extra deck, and this is treated as a fusion summon. This means it's properly summoned, and you get the level 5 Warrior Search. This is by far one of the most Levels Matter type cards ever printed. It's basically Despian Queritus, but only for Xyz and Link monsters, though sure, it can beat up anything that's not a level 12 monster in battle. The real damage is when this is mixed with Ragin. It only zero outs your opponent's monsters, so you get to keep that big 3000 attack body. So when you debuff the field and Ragin goes in for a now 0 attack Xyz or Link monster, Ragin grows to 5000 attack with the opposing monster gaining nothing, with the damage doubling kicking it up to 10,000 damage. Whoa, a light warrior dealing 10,000 damage? Calm down there, Ragin, you're taking Utopia's thunder. When Shura says they're the combat star, they aren't kidding, though the lack of a blue flame is a little unsettling. Okay, so this next one isn't a Star Warrior card, but really, are any of them? Giant Starfall is a normal trap card, and neither player can activate the effects of monsters without levels in response to this card's activation, so no Lingaribo. It targets a face-up monster without a level on the field, and for the rest of the turn, any battle damage from battles involving that target are halved, it can't activate its effects or be destroyed by battle, also its attack becomes 0. This is a weird one, it's almost like it was made to go with Ragin in the situation where you don't have access to Shura. Its damage doubling counteracts Giant Starfall's having, and technically means you can attack the targeted monster over and over again for attacks, so your other monsters can scrounge up enough damage for game. If this was a quick play spell, I could see it having some niche usages. If this was searchable, I could see this being a neat one-of trap card, but as of now, its trap card status makes it far too slow for our fast-paced OTK strategy, making Giant Starfall more of a giant disappointment. Alright, so that's all these Star Warrior cards, but what do we do with them? Well, damage is the name of the game, so the faster we can deploy our fusions, the faster we can close out the game. So our support should be geared towards deploying large warriors and making sure they get in for game. So what can we play to help them out? Well, with all the level 5 monsters we have, it's hard to pass up an opportunity to play Feast of the Wild level 5. True, all their effects will be negated and they can't attack, so they're really not much more than material. But that means we can access the rank 5 toolbox. Chronomaly Vimana gives you negates, Pleiades gives you bouncing if you summoned lights, River Stormer gives you a machine search for some reason, Nash Knight gets you any over 100 Chaos Xyz monster you could ever want, and by that I mean you get Silent Honor Dark, Volcasaurus gives you removal and burn, but Shark Fortress is probably the most important one, since it doles out the double attacks you so desperately need. And as it turns out, this spell card is actually searchable by way of Battle Guard Cadet, so on top of getting free level 5 warrior summons, you can also trigger Senko's special summon from hand effect, because while Cadet isn't a tuner, it is an Earth, and still makes for prime Link material. Overlay Booster is another pretty funny include. If we get a big enough Star Warrior on board, Booster can be summoned for free, then later can boost Xyz monsters' attack by a ton. Junk Forward ain't too shabby either. It's a free Earth Warrior you can special summon from your hand, can be tributed to Kai'Sa to get your whole fusion engine online, or lets you normal summon Tenma at no cost. While being neither an Earth nor Light monster, Super Quantum Red Layer is a normal summonable level 5 warrior monster that can act as a bridge to a potential Star Warrior Super Quantum hybrid deck, or at the very least gives you access to Magna Liger with the quick effect. A deck that can potentially work really well with Star Warriors is UA. Both decks are already very focused on punching a whole bunch for game, and UAs are already comprised of mostly level 5 or higher Earth Warriors, so we're already kinda set on that front. They're even in a position to help get our UAs onto the board. If we lack our level 4 midfielder or libero spikers to get the swaps on, you can free normal summon Tenma, which can then summon either Mighty Slugger or Perfect Ace from your hand, and now you've got the whole bench in rotation. Fusion Reinforcement is a recently released card that works really well for us, because it means we can summon Idaten for free right out of the extra without locking us into anything in particular. We can either use it as material to go into Shura quickly, or overlay it as rank 10 material, giving us access to Gustav Max to help us bridge that gap from 2,000 life points to game over. As for a silly tech pick, well, while it may not be long for this world, Instant Fusion can be a big help. Giltia the D-Knight is a level 5 light warrior monster to help with our earth half of the deck, or you could summon Sea Monster of Theseus to pair with any of our level 5. That either makes Barone or Ultimaya Zolkin, so if you have a spell or trap card you can set, that's a free Crystal Wing. And really, what goes better with the big punchy warrior deck than the big punchy dragon? And that's all I have to say about Star Warriors. It doesn't exactly have the kind of robust engine needed for a top tier deck, but under the right circumstances, I could see this being a very strong alternate game plan in the odd deck that can facilitate their strange combination of traits. Find the right home and you'll be putting out the kind of damage that'll make you the star of locals. But now, I want to hear what you all have to say. Are Star Warriors an earth-shattering force to be reckoned with, or were their training weights a little too light? And which Star Warrior is your favorite? Personally, I'm going with Rage, and they've got some strong energy. Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you share this video with someone you know who loves Yu-Gi-Oh! It really does a lot to help me out. Today's episode was brought to you in part by Dragon Shield. When you want to protect your cards with the power of dragon scales, get some sweet lore for them, and support the channel, check out my link in the description to get started. Today's episode was also brought to you by my lovely patrons, including this month's illustrious Quasar Commander Green Knight, Nebula Navigators 3rd Dynasty, Ada Basilisk, Adam Zajdel, Andrew Newman, Avi Chali, Kane Senpai, Chibi Gohan, Danny Bound, Eric, Frankie, Genesis Yu-Gi-Oh, Gloomba 331, Great Big Pillock, Hair Bear, Harry the Ominous Benefactor, Howling Zangetsu, Iskander 711, John Manji, Jordan, Julius Sneezer, Mana Charge, Marluxia is a Girl, Nathan Vig, Panther J, Rebel King Lucifer, RJ the Jank Monarch, Sammy Haim, Sir Knight JCB, Skybuster Leo, Sophie, apparently, the Fresh Prince of Conair, the Charizard Flame, the Wizard Moose and Xander Wolfensberger, Cosmic Crusaders Almento 5010, Ariel Kersey, Bear Sharktopus Studios, Beluga Masta, Chaz Ghost, Chris Kessler, Corbinisms, Drachenwald, Emony, Eva Padilla, Give Cruel the Belt, you dumb bastards, Inblink, Jester Designs, Kale the Dragon, Carp, Kevon Public, King Scarlet Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lord Whoop-De-Doo, Manga Pages, Marion James E. Picata, Matt Simmons, Michael Shimabukuro, Nadia McCarthy, Nitromo, Ruxith Sarani, Shizuka Nijimura, Star-Lord 777, Stephen Williamson, the Legendary Raven, Tucker Ordorn, and Zaldreka, as well as the wonderful Starlight Explorers you see on screen now. If you'd like to be a part of these credits, help me in my journey to cover all of Yu-Gi-Oh's archetypes, help keep the channel going, and participate in monthly custom card reviews, check out my Patreon link in the description, or consider becoming a YouTube member down below. And if you'd like to see another archetype full of big burly battlers, check out this video I made covering Noble Knights. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. It's basically lesbian queer tits, but only for Xyz and Link monsters. Okay, now I'm gonna re-record that line with... I saw someone call lesbian queer tits lesbian queer tits, and it's been living rent-free in my head. So I don't know if we'll use that take, because I don't know if it's my place to do the joke, but I did want to put it down. Okay.